supported by the props that you have on your mat. So for tonight's practice, we have 2 blocks, 2 blankets, a bolster, and then a chair. And as we move through these poses tonight, I will be giving different options. And if none of the options that I give you feel good in your body tonight, just come out of the pose and either take a pose that does feel good to you, or you can certainly give me a wave and we can work on it together. Like I said, we have about 5 to 7 minutes in these poses, so plenty of time to explore if you would like to. Also, if you need anything else besides what is on your mat to be comfortable with your practice tonight, again, just give me a wave. I'm more than happy to get you what you need to feel comfortable this evening. For tonight's practice, we are going to be getting into most parts of the body, the spine, the hips, the legs, but any other parts of the body tonight that feel a little bit cranky, could use a little bit of extra love tonight. All right, cool. So if you are in studio, you can begin to take everything except the, just leave the 2 blankets on the mat. Everything else can go. If you're at home, you'll take your 1 blanket, fold it into 4s, and then take short end to short end, and then long end to long end. So you create this long rectangle shape. And then for your other blanket, so again, you will fold it in to 4s, and then lay it down in front of you and roll it long end to long end. So you create this long noodle shape. And as you start to set up for this pose, we are going to be moving into Mountain Brook for our first pose tonight, but then we're going to be doing some side stretches. So I invite you to set up so you have room to extend your arms long. So maybe the bottom of your mat becomes the top of your mat for this pose, just so you don't have to shift around when we move into the side stretch, but completely your choice. So you'll take the long rectangle blanket and you'll set it about 1/3 of the way down the mat. And this is going to support your shoulders as we start to move into the pose. And then you'll take the long blanket and you'll place it above the long rectangle blanket. I like to keep it about a hand width apart, so if you spread your fingers wide, this is going to go under your neck, so if that's helpful for spacing. So a little space here is where the tops of your shoulders are going to go, neck is going to go here, and then the upper back and shoulders are going to rest on the blanket. You can start to make your way so that your back is facing the 2 blankets. And then begin to make your way all the way down onto your back. And you may need to adjust the props slightly. And that rectangle blanket is supporting the shoulder blades. The tops of the shoulders are resting on the space in between the 2 blankets. The rolled blanket is under the neck, supporting the head and neck. An option to leave the arms resting alongside the body if you'd like, or you can cactus the arms and let the wrists rest on the ends of the blanket. And let the chest begin to open. You can let the eyes come closed here, begin to soften the gaze. Start to let the attention begin to rest on the breath as it moves in and out through the nose, or the sounds of the room. Let your inhales be full, dry exhales be long and complete, allowing the belly button and spine to sink towards the mat as you release the air out of the body. Inhale, the body expands, creates space. Exhale, the body softens and sinks towards start to make your way back to a comfortable seated position. You can take the rolled blanket and set it off to the side for now. And take your one block and place it at the top of the mat. This is going to be for your head. And then take your second block and place it above the first block. This is going to be for your arm or wrist as we move into the side stretch. You can take your bolster and place it towards the bottom of the mat for now. The long rectangle blanket stays where it is, or you can move it down slightly. It's going to be right underneath the side of your body and your waist as we move into the side stretch. So you can start to make your way onto your left hip and then begin to rest the body over top of the folded rectangle blanket. The head comes on the one block on its lowest setting, and then reach the arm up and over to find the block above your head. Option here to bring the leg on top of the bolster, stretching it long, creating one long line from the right hand to the right foot. Bring the top arm back down. You can roll onto your back, taking a few breaths there. Maybe notice the difference between the two sides. Maybe there isn't a difference, and that's fine too. Then begin to make your way over to the right side. Head comes to the block. Reach the top arm up overhead and find the block above the head. Top leg can come straight, find the bolster. One long line. Maybe draw in a few deep breaths on this side. Filling the left side of the body with air, creating space. Noticing that space that's created. bolster off to the side. You can take your 2 blocks and also set them off to the side, but maybe leave them within arm's reach. And you'll come to sit on the mat. Legs can come out straight in front of you. And then begin to bend the left knee and bring the left sole of the foot against the inside of the right leg. Option to take a block and place it underneath that left knee. You can also take your rolled blanket and place it underneath the right knee. Then we'll be folding over the legs, but there's a few options. You can take your bolster and place it on top of the left ankle and then fold over the bolster. Or you can use your elbows to support the head. Or you can take your chair and place it over top of the legs. I like to take the blanket and place it on top of the chair to support the upper body. So whatever option you choose, find a nice long spine, sitting up tall, and then hinge over that right leg, either resting on top of the bolster or on top of the chair. Down into the sits bones, the root into the earth. As you exhale, allow the left knee to release towards the earth. Allow the upper body to soften. straighten the left leg. Maybe shifting the legs a little bit, releasing the work that we did. And then bend the right knee, bring the inside of the right sole of the foot against the left leg. Option to take a block and place it underneath the right knee. And then take the bolster or the chair, place it over top of the legs. And inhale to find a little extra length in the spine and keep that length as you fold over the legs. Option to rest the arms or the head in the arms, or place the elbows on the bolster and rest the forehead in the palms of the hands. any blanket that is underneath the legs. Stretch out the legs, maybe give them a little shake. And then we'll begin to make our way onto the hands and knees. You can take the long rectangle blanket and open it it up so it's folded in fours once again, and lay it down on the mat for a little extra cushion for the knees. Going to be moving into supported child's pose. So there's an option to take this blanket, the rolled blanket, and either place it underneath the ankles, maybe unroll it once, place it under the ankles, or leave it rolled and place it on top of the ankles or thighs. Knees come open about the width of the mat, a little bit wider than the hips. And you can bring the bolster lengthwise on the mat so that the end of the bolster rests on the inside of the thighs. You can leave the bolster just as it is, or you can take your blocks and raise the bolster up, either placing one block on its lowest setting, one block on its highest setting. I like to leave some space in between the two blocks. From here, inhale, find that length in the spine, and as you exhale, begin to walk the hands down either side of the bolster, bringing the head to rest on one side. Arms can stay resting on the mat, or it can feel good to hug them around the bolster, threading them in between the space between the two blocks. And if this doesn't feel good on your hips or knees today, just let me know. You can move into surfboard pose if this doesn't feel good. straps that are on top of the legs. And move the bolster off to the side. And come back to table. Can bring the knees to stack under the hips and take the right leg and just stretch it out here for a moment. Keep the toes on the mat. Maybe rock back on the right foot. Stretching the arch of that foot. Then right knee comes to the mat. Extend the left leg long, toes to the mat. And maybe staying in stillness or rocking back on the foot, giving a stretch in the arch of the left foot. Left knee comes down to the mat. You can sit back on the heels and let the hips fall to one side and sweep the legs out in front of you. Setting up for reclined butterfly. So creating a ramp like we did for child's pose, or option to leave the bolster long lengthwise on the mat. Otherwise, can take one block on its medium setting, one block on its lowest setting. And then coming to sit so that your back is rested against the bottom of the bolster. Soles of the feet come to touch, let the knees open. And then take your rolled blanket, place it on top of the ankles and wrap it around the shins, creating support for the legs here. Then inhale to sit tall, exhale to begin to release down on top of the bolster. Can let the shoulders come to either side. The arms rest alongside the body. If you would like some extra blocks for underneath the knees, just give me a wave. Draw deep into the body, drawing all the way down into the belly, maybe lower into the pelvis, and let it circulate through the hips. And as you exhale, allow the sits bones to get heavy and the knees to release towards the earth. hands to draw the knees together and straighten the legs. And then begin to sit up. And you can take the bolster, set it off to the side for now. You can take the rolled blanket off the ankles and set that off to the side. Take the blocks off, and then take the blanket that's folded in four. And from here, fold the blanket short end to short end. And then long end to long end, making that long rectangle shape once again. And then from here you can set that blanket off to the left side of the mat. Then take the bolster and place it on the opposite side of the mat. I'm going to be moving in to a twist. So this blanket back here is going to support the top arm in the twist. You can have your blocks within arm's reach in case you need them. And then you can come to lay down on the right side of the body. Bottom leg stays straight, but the top knee bends and rests on top of the bolster. Arms stretch straight out in front of the body, and then take the top arm and reach it all the way up and over, finding that blanket behind you to support the shoulder and the arm. to sweep the top arm back over, rolling onto your side. onto your back and switch the side of the props. Folded blanket comes to the opposite side, bolster switches sides. Coming to lay on the other side of the body, facing away from the blanket. Bottom leg stays straight, top knee bends and rests on top of the bolster. Arms stretch out in front of the body. Take the top arm, sweep it up and over to find the blanket behind you. Twisting to the other side. Sweep the top arm back over, rolling onto your side. And then you can begin to make your way onto your back and start to settle in for Shavasana. So a few options. You can rest straight on your back and let the arms and legs rest long. You can bring the bolster underneath the knees. You can take your chair and place it on the mat and bring your legs to rest on top of the chair, coming in to a variation of Stonehenge. And begin to settle in to whatever variation you chose. Bringing the attention back to the breath as it flows in and out through the nose. Let your exhales be long. Let the body get heavier and heavier with every breath. breaths there. And then eventually make your way back to a comfortable seated position, leaving the eyes closed here for a moment. Option to bring the hands in prayer, let them rest one on top of the other above the heart space. Ending this practice with a few moments of gratitude. First, being grateful for yourself, for taking time out of your weekend to show up for your practice and yourself. Grateful for your body, for everything that it does to support you throughout the day, and for supporting the practice this evening. Knowing that whatever showed up on the mat tonight, whatever shapes the body took, they were perfect just as they were. And grateful for this new week. This new opportunity. Calling to mind anything else you would like to share a few moments of gratitude for. I am grateful to have led your practice this evening and for the energy that you shared with me, either in this space or your own. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Again, to let the hands rest on top of the thighs. You can start to let the eyes open and adjust to the light of the space. Thank you all very much for joining me this evening. Few quick announcements. There are still, I think, 2 more sessions of our strength series on form. And then we do have a deep dive into Yin Yoga on 3/24. Very similar to restorative. If you've taken one of our Yoga for Flexibility classes, that is Yin style. So slightly more active stretching, slightly less hold time. But this is a deep dive, so it'll go through the energy lines of the body and the areas of the